January the 16th, 2019. Jaws dropped across the fanbase of the world's favourite supernatural comedy franchise as a new sequel, a direct sequel, to the original two Ghostbusters films was announced. Out of nowhere we suddenly had a teaser trailer. Jason Reitman, son of Ivan, was lined up to direct, and a release date of summer 2020 was teased. We all know now the world events had other ideas. But as that original Elmer Bernstein soundtrack played, and with the flash of that logo on the back of the original Ecto 1, we knew Ghostbusters was coming back. After decades of big promises and false starts with Dan Aykroyd pretty much on a yearly basis telling us the script was in place and they're going to be shooting the next summer, a Ghostbusters 3 looked like it was finally happening. But Jason Reitman, the director of Thank You for Smoking, Juno, Up in the Air, was this director, who was more notably famous for doing smaller character-based dramas, going to be the right fit for this franchise? Well, of course he was. There was an air of excitement and nervousness. A percentage, albeit a loud percentage of the fan base, was already hurt and not afraid to make their feelings known when it came to the 2016 reboot, Ghostbusters Answer the Call. Well, I still loved it. It wasn't really what many people were asking for, but without it, we wouldn't be where we are now. The film's obviously a lot more than a means to an end. It stands on its own, and I love it all the same. We all poured over the internet as different rumours began to swirl. As a direct sequel, it was expected that the original cast would return. Would that include Bill Murray? Then an audition casting call sheet was leaked. A 12-year-old girl and a 13-year-old boy would be the leads. The girl is an insanely smart kid, has a hard time with interpreting and expressing emotions, and speaks with a flat delivery that make her observations humorous. A bit like Egon. She wants to connect with others, struggles with interpreting how her family and friends feel, has difficulty sharing her own feelings, and her science acumen is said to prove invaluable. It was revealed that the four leads would all be teens within the 12 to 17-year-old range, two of which would be brother and sister. The plot would centre on a family who moves back home to a small town where they begin to learn more about who they are and the secrets of the town itself. Again, the internet goes wild, and I remember there seemed to be an instant consensus, instant thought that this family were going to be Spenglers and then there were going to be ties to Ivo Shandor. I remember that distinctly right at the very beginning. Those rumours were flying. But rumours they were. All rumours. Very exciting rumours. Casting is seemingly finalised and announced. First Finn Wolfhard, then the amazing Carrie Coon, and then McKenna Grace. Ghostbusters Day 2019, it was also confirmed that Bill Murray, yes Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Ernie Hudson, Sigourney Weaver had all read the script. The story took place in a new location. What? No New York? Then, June the 27th, 2019, this happened.
You see, this is what happens. Every day, people coming out and taking pictures of this magnificent building.
And really, can you blame them? Can you blame them? It's such an epic film. I love it, I'm a fan. When I heard that Jason Reitman was going to be doing a new version in the fall, and my agents called him and said, "Hey, Jason, we hear there's a part of a young, semi-young, strapping man that needs to be cast. Who are you going to call?" When I heard that they were going to call me, well, as you can imagine, I nearly slimed myself. I can't wait to join the cast this fall for Ghostbusters. In fact, I'm sliming myself right now.
Oh, excuse me. 1 week later, Celeste O'Connor and Logan Kim both signed up. About a week after that, we got the first production image from the set in Calgary. Just look at those glasses. She has to be a Spengler, right? And about a month after that, both Ernie Hudson and Dan Aykroyd both confirmed they were part of the cast. But what about Bill Murray? Another month goes by, and during an appearance in Italy, Bill Murray does indeed confirm that Pete Venkman will return. December the 6th, 2019, a poster was released with those oh so familiar green skies. And then, 3 days later...
What are you doing here in Somerville anyway?
Honestly, my mom won't say it, but we're completely broke.
December the 9th, 2019, we got the first trailer with actual footage from the film. It looked beautiful. It gave us hints at the story. We all tapped through every frame. We saw the Shandor mine. We saw our first glimpse of a ghost. the ghost we'd come to know as Muncher. We saw repurposed footage from the original film. Our Ghostbusters were there. Then we had the strongly hinted at confirmation of who this new family really were when that jumpsuit came through from the shadows and that name badge was revealed. It was so different to the original two films, but it still felt like it was in the same universe. We saw the ghost trap, the Ecto-1. Oh man, the Ecto-1. Then we heard Venkman's speech.
Call it fate. Call it luck. Call it karma. I believe that everything happens for a reason.
And then, a glimpse of what just had to be a pterodon. All was right in the universe. July the 10th, 2020 couldn't come soon enough. But then it didn't. It was March 2020 when COVID-19 hit. The world as we knew it would stop. Lockdowns were in place, we were told to stay home. By the end of that first month, the theatrical release of Ghostbusters Afterlife was pushed back from July the 10th, 2020 to March the 5th, 2021. Movie theatres closed, some even went into administration. And indeed, by the time that normality began to creep into our daily lives and routines, there was a public nervousness about interacting with each other again. Cinemas began to reopen, but their patronage was low. Studios would hold back on releasing their very expensive products and investments. Some would go straight to streaming or day-on-date releases, with streamers and cinema chains quickly becoming the norm. How films were going to reach the consumer looked like it was going to change forever. The March 2021 release soon became June the 11th, 2021, and then nearly a year later shifted back even further to November the 11th, which eventually moved even further back, albeit just one more week, to November the 18th.
Judgment Day. Judgment Day.
As we moved into 2021 with a final release date seemingly locked into place, the real publicity push began. In April 2021, an actual scene from the movie was posted online. Paul Rudd in a Walmart were the oft-rumoured mini puffs finally revealed.
You're a great mom.
I don't know.
27th of July 2021 came the official second trailer of the film, and subsequently the birth of my YouTube channel that you're watching right now. Yay! Hopefully you've connected the dots as to why it's called Popular Tripe. I'd wanted to start a channel for quite some time, and I've been patiently waiting for this trailer to come along. I always knew that I wanted this trailer to be the first one that I would ever react to, at least react to online, if you know what I mean. And for what wouldn't be the first time, things got a bit emotional.
You guys hear that?
Something's coming.
The whole city. It's like The Walking Dead.
Yes!
Ghostbusters, we're ready to believe you.
We're closed.
Oh my god. Then the Ghostbusters official YouTube channel started to post more content, including the Super Ghostbusters Afterlife National S'mores Day mini puffed recipe from Just Gen Recipes, and filmed by the one, the only, Troy Benjamin. It was here that we also got the first hints of Rob Simonson's, as it turned out to be, absolutely stunning soundtrack. I can remember feeling all sorts of emotions and positivity just watching this little video. Hearing those first little snippets of the soundtrack, it was clearly paying homage to Elmer Bernstein's work that came before. But it also had this like crazy, fun Danny Elfman kind of vibe to it, but it still felt utterly and completely Ghostbusters. It was from the world that we all knew and loved. Soon afterwards, many TV spots, behind the scenes featurettes, interviews with the cast and crew began to appear online, until we got that final trailer. I almost didn't want to watch it. It was like 10 days before release. Will it be too much? Will it show the guys? Should I resist watching? Could I resist watching? I couldn't resist watching. This was the trailer to bring in all the masses, the last one before release, and it was going to be all or nothing. It showed lots, probably too much. We got Muncher, we got Mini Puffs, we got a glimpse of Gozer, Bug-Eye, the Minor Ghost, and then that ending. Oh my.
I think we opened the gates of hell.
Hey, have you missed us?
Have you missed us? Yeah, I have. final week of release, I can remember feeling completely overwhelmed, almost to the point of exhaustion, trying to keep up with everything that was coming through. I loved every second of it, but I was so knackered. A lot of my favourite YouTubers, like the Yes Have Some gang, a lot of the online Ghostbusters community, they'd all seem to have seen it. They went to the premieres or preview screenings. They were all lucky enough to get to see it early. Everyone was talking about it. They go, oh no, can't say anything, don't want to spoil it for you. And it began to feel like everyone in the world had seen it except for me. It was almost to the point where I began to feel almost low about it. When that ain't right, I can't explain it. But then, the day came. This was almost like a religious experience for me. I first saw Ghostbusters Afterlife on its opening show, November the 18th, an IMAX screening. My son came with me, and it was just a beautiful time. I think I even began to tear up as the opening twinkles of those piano keys at the beginning chimed in. After all this time, 32 years later, with those last 2 years feeling particularly long, I was finally watching Ghostbusters 3. I can remember I sat in the corner of the movie theatre lobby with my embarrassed son, holding a camera as I was trying to collect my thoughts so as to do a straight out of theatre review. I couldn't. It's online still, I posted it. The link's down below, but it makes very little sense. I watched the film again that afternoon and then a third time that evening with a full audience. 3 IMAX screenings in that opening day. Every time I loved it, I was thrilled by it, I was moved by it. I saw the film a total of 7 times in the cinema. It's my most watched film on a cinema screen ever. Pretty much every time that I watched it, it felt like the first. I won't do another full review within this video, it's going to be too long already. But you can find both my straight out of theatre review and my full spoiler review in the playlist link down below. Suffice to say, it was everything that I wanted in the film, and from what I'd read, it had garnered a lot of praise across the board. Some people did seem to take issue with the amount of fan service that was within, but Jason Reitman stated that this was a love letter to the fans, and that very much shone through. Nostalgia does seem to be big business these days, but while this film paid homage, it was very much its own thing. It would have been very easy to get 4 more guys, set it in New York, go up against a big supernatural threat before saving the day. Saving the day! But we didn't go there. It was a very personal story. It was told with love and respect for the franchise, for the fans, for Harold Ramis and his family, and to Jason's own father and hero, the much missed Ivan Reitman. I do equate what they did here similarly to what Star Wars achieved when they released The Force Awakens. That film's largely considered a remake of A New Hope. However, I think Force Awakens was, and I think they're upfront about it, it was made as a course correction after what was once perceived as a poor reception for those prequels. It was an updated story, it had all today's technology utilised to tell it, but it still felt very vintage and old school. Many of the effects were practical, a lot of it was filmed in real environments, but more importantly, it brought back the fun. Ghostbusters Afterlife achieved the same. Again, I think they considered it a course correction after the poor reception for Answer the Call. I love you. We had those practical, full-size terror dogs. Again, that very old-school animatronic minor ghost. Even those pink streams of ghostly energy that sailed through the air were produced using the original effects from 1984. Even in these difficult times, Ghostbusters Afterlife was a massive success. Ghostbusters was back in the cultural zeitgeist. We had toys. Oh, so many toys. We had collectibles. Dear God, I spent so much money. We had one of the fastest, most successful HasLab projects in the new Ghostbusters Afterlife Proton Pack, which in turn brought Pam back into our lives. We had clothing, we had books, we had magazines, we had comic book adventures, crossover comic book adventures, video games, board games, props, DVDs, Blu-rays, 4K, Ultimate Collection box sets with all new footage from the original film. We even finally got Randy Edelman's soundtrack score for Ghostbusters 2. Ghostbusters was everywhere. Well, seemingly in my life, it seemed to be everywhere. If Moogly could fit on it, Moogly would go on it. It felt like 1984 all over again. The success of Ghostbusters Afterlife could hopefully only mean one thing.
Invasion.
No, not invasion. Always with the invasion, that guy. It could hopefully mean only one other thing. And those hopes were realised when in June this year, Jason Reitman and Gil Kennan gave us the announcement that a sequel to Ghostbusters Afterlife was on its way. At this year's Ectofest, Jason Reitman went on to say,
"We're writing another movie."
And
tonight we're going to share the code name for the next chapter in the Spangler family story.
The last time we saw Ecto-1, he was driving back into Manhattan.
The home of Ghostbusters.
And that's where our story begins. We call it Firehouse.
Okay, sounds like we better finish the script, huh?
So, back to New York, back to Hook and Ladder 8, back to Slimer? Are we going to get Slimer back? It's a given, isn't it? Again, the script has been written by Jason Reitman and Gil Kennan, with hints over the last few weeks that it is actually finished. No other information is available at the moment, other than Ernie Hudson recently stating that he's very happy with it. As well as a new Ghostbusters Afterlife sequel, we also have a new animated feature film coming through from Sony Pictures Animation. The film will be directed by Jennifer Kluska and Chris Pinoski, and will be written by Brenda Shea. No other information is clear at the moment, other than I can't pronounce names.
I'm ashamed.
What has been said is that the film will be an all-new team and it will be a whole new take. An animated feature film I know had been talked about for years and was always a passion project for Ivan Reitman, with the world of the unknown being said to only being able to be properly explored through the limitless reach of animation. We will also be getting a new Netflix animated series coming our way with Jason and Gil as executive producers. Again, no story hints, nothing out there at all. Lots of rumours, lots of hopes that it might be a younger take or be a series that fills in the gaps between Ghostbusters 1 and 2 or Ghostbusters 2 moving forward. So the original four guys and what happened in that time in between. Again, all conjecture, all hopes and dreams. But I'm sure whatever comes our way, we're going to love. Ghostbusters Afterlife was not only a continuation of a well-loved franchise, it was an expansion. A beautiful celebration to everything we'd come to know and love before, and a statement to its fans and the rest of the world that Ghostbusters, in all its new incarnations, was here to stay. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel, click like on this video, tap the notification bell, keep up to date with all the new content that's coming through. Until next time, take care, bye bye.